Hey, we're live.
Good morning, everybody. Post-Thanksgiving SNL.
Hey, I'm Lane,
And I'm Scott.
and welcome to another Wednesday Live SNL with us, Scott and Lane. And today we're going to be talking about, throw up the banner there. We're going to be talking about 10 minutes to make your home look 10 times better, 10x better. What do you think about that, Scott?
I think it's amazing, and I think it's perfectly appropriate this time of year because even with what's going on in the world today, we're still entertaining somewhat small groups of people coming over. It's also time of year where it's just nice to take stock of what is going on in your house so you're ready to hit the new year running with a really fresh look. And we know things kind of become wallpapery, as we've said.
Yeah, and even if you're not entertaining, a lot of people are spending more time in their homes and they just want that like feeling of, I'm home, relaxed. It doesn't feel cluttered. It doesn't feel congested. It just feels open, airy, and a place that you really want to start and finish your day.
I think you're right on, Lane. I love that word congested. As many of you know, Philip and I live in a fairly small house. Our cottage in Laguna Beach is only 2 bedrooms. And having come from bigger houses in the past, it's a challenge on a daily basis to keep things uncongested and be able to keep the traffic flow moving, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into number one here. I think it's pretty obvious. We're talking about congestions. Cut the clutter.
Cut the clutter. And you know what? This to me is number one. And it's so easy for things just to become part of the landscape of the house, whether it's a pile of papers here, a stack of something here, a box that we kind of shoved in a corner, said we'll get to that later. And we pulled some of these items from apartmenttherapy.com. They've got some great blog posts out there for practical for homeowners as well. And I'll let Lane chat in a minute, but one of my takeaways from this item, which I thought was amazing, was simply take a picture of each room. And why do we want to do that, Lane?
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say, is because when you're in the same room every single day, you get used to what's in that room, right? So now when you take a photo of it, it's almost like looking at that room with a new set of eyes. You might be able to pick up on some areas that need to be decluttered, or some stuff that needs to be pared down or moved to make that room just feel a little bit bigger. And yes, because you can take different angles of the photo in the room, it's a whole new, like they said, it's a whole new set of eyes. Even though it's the same room and you see it every single day, you're looking at it from a different lens, pun intended.
No, absolutely. And you know what? We can take a cue from our designer, Jan Turcott, who helps our clients stage their homes. And one of the first things she does when she comes in with her consultation, she takes a photograph of each room and then she circles the things that either need to come out, need to be moved, or need to be edited. So this makes perfect sense to me. And then, as Lane said, you're looking at it with a fresh set of eyes and you can see where things might need to be eliminated or downsized just a bit.
Yeah. And one thing that I love to do, and is very similar to what Jan does, is when you take that photo, I print it out and then I just start crossing stuff out and making notes on it using red ink and then just playing around with it, and then look at it, live with it a little bit, maybe take another photo. And if it looks great, then you know it's perfect for your lifestyle and your needs.
And even though we say you can do this in 10 minutes, if you're one person that likes to plan and do things in stages, taking photographs is great. As Lane said, you can then just relax, mark those up, then go ahead and set your to-do list based on each room and what you've marked up on your photos. And it's just going to talk to you and tell you what you need to do to get pared down to that nice, easy traffic flow, congestion-free zone.
Yeah. Well, let's go to number two. Number two is very similar to number one, and that's take something away.
Yes.
It's less is more, right? We always hear that less is more, less is always more.
I think it's absolutely correct. And I've done something similar in my own living room just recently. I realized I had 4 side tables and 3 little ottomans of various descriptions in my living room. And I thought, how did that happen? Well, it was a pickup, here, a Pier 1, cost plus, different furniture stores, things I just add. And then it's kind of like a closet full of extra clothes. How much do I need? How do I really need to live 90% of the time? So I took a few things away. And again, realizing what I call that 90-10 rule. Lane?
Yeah, well, apartment therapy used a really cool analogy with the Coco Chanel analogy of get yourself dressed, look in the mirror, and then take off one accessory. Same thing. Get your house organized, maybe decorated for the holidays. Take a look at it. Maybe go back to number one and take a photo of it. Look at it, and maybe take away one item or one accessory, and it just makes it feel a little bit bigger and open.
Yeah, it really does. I think that's that was really a great tip in their article.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, let your furniture breathe.
This was kind of a really interesting one, and I took stock of this when Lynn and I were preparing for the call, and I took a look around the house last night, and it's right on. It literally talks about just creating a little bit of space between certain furniture items. I don't know what the tendency is or why we have the tendency to just kind of push everything together in our homes. And then everything is kind of touching and a little too cozy. By just giving a little bit of space between the furnishings, I have to tell you, it immediately created a sense of order and calm in my living room.
Yeah, it'll show depth. It'll make it feel a little bit bigger. And it's not just pushing stuff, together or pushing stuff away. It's actually pulling the furniture away from the wall just a few inches. And like I don't even notice about that, because I think about when we stage some of our homes, sometimes we do push it up against the wall, and I really want to play around with it, especially in the photos, of pulling away from the wall from 2 or 3 inches or so, and just seeing it like come to life and make it just feel bigger. The common theme between the first 3 here is making your home feel bigger, airy, free, less congested. We're using the same words over and over here, but it's all applying the same principles.
I think just creating balance too. And I'm going to, on this note, before we move on to the next one thing strikes me from a good friend of mine, a very, very prominent designer here in Orange County in the San Francisco Bay Area, Sheldon Hart with Hart Brownlee Designs. Big shout out to him. He told me once, so many people tend to push everything back against the walls, and then they've got a skating rink for a living room now. And he says, are you going to be skating or sitting and enjoying conversation? Point well taken.
Well, I will say I got one of those new VR games. So you need a little bit of space. So I've got the goggles, and you need about 3 feet by 3 feet to move around. So
all right,
we definitely push stuff away. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding about the game. But yes,
I like it. I like it. Well, and you know me, I might like to skate sometime. I'm in the garage when the weather's bad. Maybe I want to skate in my living room. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? That's what homes are for. You can do whatever you want with them.
All right, let's move on to number 4.
Add flowers. Add life. I know you just recently did that too.
Absolutely. And for those of you who know gardening and flowers and anything living in green, colorful is my absolute passion. So we've got a small atrium in our property. Our house is basically a square donut, and I had pared that down recently, and it was just kind of boxwood hedges and containers and so forth, very monochromatic. And I went to Home Depot. Poinsettias right now between there, Smart and Final, everything where you go, there should be no more than about $7. So don't pay more than that as a quick tip. But you know what? For less than $30, I was able to get some cyclamens, some poinsettias, and I arranged those around my atrium. I added a couple of little Christmas decorations that I had from before, some rustic little trucks and so forth and so on, set them around, and boom, this monochromatic atrium suddenly became a holiday focal point. And when I'm sitting in the morning having my coffee, I got to tell you, I've already started just loving this space. And it took me, besides the shopping time minimal, it took me less than 10 minutes to just transform that space.
Yeah, really easy to do. And if you don't have the luxury of an atrium, but maybe you want to bring a little bit of life and maybe some texture to a room, adding plants or fresh cut flowers, that's the way to go. And fresh is definitely a little bit more expensive if you continue to always have fresh flowers in there. So the suggestion from Apartment Therapy, again, is maybe start with a house plant. It also softens corners if you do have a larger plant in the corner. And again, they talk about bringing life and depth and just something that life is great. It's great to have in home. So it's a great tip from Apartment Therapy.
It absolutely is. And again, if you don't have the budget to go out and spend $100 on a new house plant, to Lane's point, flowers are amazing. And you can literally add life and color to your dining room table or your kitchen table. Think Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has amazing bouquets of flowers for $3.99 and $4.99. I'll pop in there, and for $10, I can get a couple of great bunches of flowers and come home and make 3 arrangements and throw some color into the kitchen, a little something in the entry hall. Also think about some of your local flower stands along the way. You can stop and just pick up stems on your own. And these gals at these places will always help you out. And for $10 or so, you've got some flowers to bring home and add a little bit of color. Whether you're male, female, or anything, color and life is great, as Lane says.
Add that color, add that life. Let's go on to the next one. Embrace the diagonal. Embrace the diagonal, Scott.
This was not a tough one for me, but I'm kind of an orderly kind of guy mentally. So this was, I'll be honest, this was a little tough for me to do. And as I looked at my living room, I realized I did have everything kind of at my right angles, but I went outside my comfort zone and I took one lounge chair that I have and I kind of did put it on the diagonal. So it creates like a 45-degree angle to another L-shaped seating arrangement. And I stepped back and I'll admit I'm still kind of getting used to it. Lane, your thoughts on
This
this?
is going to be difficult for a lot of people, like including yourself and like myself. That's a little bit more OCD and has to have those right angle and those straight lines. But yes, they're just talking about maybe taking one piece, whether it's a chair or an ottoman, and just turning it a little bit diagonal. And the purpose of that is, like, if you want to have that designer, that creative look, it just makes things a little bit different, a little bit more artsy. But usually the artistic folks are a little bit less OCD than I am, and don't have to always continue just straightening things out. Like when I go around my house, everything has to be perfectly level, perfectly straight. And in this case, if you're taking a furniture piece and making it a little bit diagonal, it might make you go a little bit crazy if you're like myself. However, I think if it's just a side chair or a little bit of an ottoman, I can live with making it a little bit diagonal and just having that designer look.
I would say I think that's Elaine's point. You don't have to go crazy. You're not suddenly going to take your sofa and angle it or whatever, but find one piece or two occasional pieces, angle them up a little bit. It also pulls them away from the wall just by definition of creating an angle. So you're diagonal. So you're kind of solving two of the points that apartment therapy talks about in this article.
Yep. So we just talked about 5 things that you can do in less than 10 minutes to make your home look 10 times better. Scott, do you have any additional tips to maybe add on here?
Well, one of the things that that I have also done is in our second home up in Northern California. It's 2-story. It's a little bit bigger. And I have found something that is a really helpful tip, and that is just taking a walk around the downstairs, and anything that is supposed to live upstairs, it's kind of migrated downstairs. I just pick it up, and I'll usually set like a laundry basket or something at the base of the stairs. And I am amazed how in 5 or 10 minutes, I can walk through the downstairs and fill a laundry basket with things that have just, again, migrated their way downstairs and don't belong down there. And as soon as I've removed them, again, I'm freeing up the clutter. Now, of course, that basket's got to go upstairs, and those things have to be put into the rightful places up there. But I got to tell you, that is an exercise that just frees my brain and my psyche.
Yeah, for one thing that I'm thinking about if you have shelves or cabinets that maybe don't go all the way up to the top of the ceiling, and maybe you're putting stuff up there for additional storage, to make the home feel a little bit bigger, it's nice to clear off the top of those shelving and cabinet units. Another thing that I can possibly add here too is in the closets. Remove boxes or stuff that's on the floor, because when you go into the closets, anything that's on the floor, whether it's maybe storage shoe boxes or a dirty laundry hamper or whatever it is, if when you pull those off of the floor, and maybe you can add some additional storage or some containers even a little bit higher, it just makes that walk-in closet or that closet, if it's a little bit smaller, just feel a little bit more bigger as well.
Absolutely. And I've got one other thing that I actually tried this morning, and again, preparation for the call, is taking a look at the bathroom countertop. Everyone's different with their morning routine, their evening routines, what they allow to stay on or off the counter. But I got to thinking, I look at my countertop, and I found 5 things on that countertop that I thought kind of looked nice for display out there, but I don't ever use them. So they're just collecting dust. And I just kind of scooped those away, and just, again, took stock of that bathroom countertop and another little table I had in the bathroom by the tub, and just, again, decluttered that, and it sure made me feel a lot better.
And even the contents that you might use every single day, and you might use several products, it's okay to possibly put those in a little bit of basket and put the basket underneath the sink or in a drawer somewhere, and then pull out the basket when you're ready to use it too. Because at the end of the day, when you're done getting ready in the bathroom and you're putting that basket away, you just have a clear, clean, nice countertop and bathroom space.
That's right on. And you know what, and a quick side note on that, that's one of our staging tips that we give our clients when they're putting their houses up for sale, because buyers want to see clean and uncluttered surfaces everywhere. And we just ask them, put everything you use on a daily basis into a little plastic tub, pull it up, use it, put it back underneath. And we've had people say that that's a habit that they've kept with them even after they've moved. So good point, Lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are our tips, and we want to hear from you. What did you think about these tips? Are they doable? Is this something that you're maybe going to try over the holiday break? Do you have tips and tricks that maybe you apply to your home? Share them. Comment, share this post. We're going to be live. I believe we're on YouTube and possibly Facebook as well. Exactly. So send us some love, comment on the post. And as always, we love the participation and support.
We totally do. And again, throughout the holidays and beyond, we love hearing from you. We learn so much from our clients. And one of the things in our business is we get to see homes all the time and see how people live. And we learn from all of you. So your participation is absolutely vital.
Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned.